Et être Synchronicity, épisode 3. Ouais, j'ai oublié d'enlever le sticky chat. Sticky chat box. Sticky chat box. Always show. Terminé. Alors j'avais la lampe, la lettre, l'appareil photo instantané.
Antiquated model of an instant camera. Despite its appearance, it seems to be in perfect working order. I only see one problem. It has no film in it. Yellowtown Scribe. It's one of the many publications that
des
was saved
films
inside the file
pour
cabinet
prendre
at
des
home.
photos. Le sang de vos mains. Sang de vos morts.
This melancholy music makes my hair stand on end. I seem to be hearing the sad voice of Emily in every note. Where are you? How can I find you? What for? It's like... It's exactly the same view of the park and the statue that appears in the photo on the poster. No doubt, this must have been one of my simplest, most lucrative jobs.
No doubt.
I completed it without even leaving the house. No, I'd only rip it if I... I think I hear noise from the other side of that peephole, but I'm not sure. Damn it. Being in this place is starting to make me feel a little bit paranoid. Use this. Yellowtown Scribe. I don't see anything noteworthy in this local newspaper, except for a pair of excellent photographs. Yellowtown, I'm afraid... It's the device the cleanup brigades use to navigate... I just... Impossible. No matter how hard I look. Although it refers to a newspaper office, I don't see any address in this note that I can search for with the GPS. The only and the
Sans devant. Devant mort. Devant mort. Il me faut une pellicule, bordel.
easy to use, lightweight, and very attractive. I love the design of this masterpiece. Shame it doesn't have any film in it.
Je peux m'avoir une pellicule, le chasseur. Chasseur de ses morts.
Did you get me that photo of the hospital's fuel depot yet, Mike?
No, not yet.
What are you waiting for, dude? You know the deal. Bring me that photo and I'll give you whatever you want.
Like I said, I need...
And that will be a... But bring me that photo.
Ok, donc lui il m'aidera pas avec la pellicule.
Like an absurd bowling match, that sack of fat in a uniform knocked over these cans in his frustrated pursuit. The cats have already done their business back there. I'm not gonna bother them. Out of the question. I don't think doing this would serve any purpose. I don't think it would do. Better not. I wouldn't waste too much. What for? None of it's like looking into a mirror and seeing a reflection you no longer recognize staring back at you. No, I'd only rip it if I tried to pull it down without first taking out the screws. It's exact, no doubt, I complete. This camera already has a built-in flash. I don't see any way to use. This screen doesn't. The fire turned it, and there's no. No. When the hard. I don't have a good feeling. I don't have a good feeling. There's already.
Ok, le rouge le met mal à l'aise.
From what I heard, all telecommunications collapsed in the catastrophe. It seems like it took the Great Wave only a few seconds to turn all of our technology into scrap metal.
Oh no, here comes that sensation again. It's like floating in a dense liquid, while everything around me changes and repeats in cycles. Good God, I think I'm starting to lose my mind. Starting again. It's amazing. Everything's changing. Everything. Everything's mutating. Repeating itself in cycles all around me. I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
T'es mort. Bon, il faut que je trouve une boîte de pellicule là. Y a rien. Dans son appart de mort, y a rien non plus. Le pied de biche pour enlever les vis, non?
I wouldn't waste too much time on this. Pounding on the screws holding the fabric won't do anything to loosen them.
Putain, c'est parfait, bordel. Ça marche pas.
This melancholy music makes my hair stand on end. I seem to be hearing the sad voice of Emily in every note. Where are you? How can I find you?
Ok, donc ici, il n'y a plus rien de toute façon. Alors je peux essayer de retourner à l'hôpital.
These benches, fountains, and statues are in a ramshackle condition, whereas the vegetation in this park is almost completely recovered since the catastrophe. Well, if that proves our failure as a species.
Je peux plus me barrer d'ici? Aveugleman? Aveugleman.
I don't think I.
De toute façon, le cadenas là, je peux pas le couper.
What for? As long as the camera has no film, I'm limited to aimlessly focusing in that direction.
J'ai pas de pellicule, j'ai compris. Il y a moyen de descendre les bouches d'égout là,
Okay, here goes.
avec la lampe.
I'll turn on the flashlight before going down any further. Great. These tunnels are a real labyrinth, and I'm afraid that the map on the cleanup brigade's GPS only shows the city at street level. There's no reference to the sewers in the GPS. I'd better turn back before I get lost.
D'accord, sans carte des égouts de mort. Il veut pas les traverser, bordel.
From here, I'll have a magnificent view of the hospital. In truth, the vegetation. If, as the hunter says,
C'est là qu'il faut
fuel
prendre
is
la
the
photo.
currency of the new world, there's a real fortune stored here. I'm not surprised that the army has this place hidden and camouflaged.
Ou alors j'ai mal fouillé les casiers de l'étagère.
Yellowtown Scribe. It's one of the many publications I was saving inside the file cabinet at home. Impossible. No matter how hard I look, I can't find any address on the pages of this newspaper. Although it refers to a newspaper office, I don't see any address in this note that I can search for with the GPS. Great. The circuit breaker I activated is tripped, and it's the only one that seems to work. It'll probably only hold for a little while. I'm not going to take any. A small red LED is blinking on all of them, an unmistakable sign that they've been used. A row of anon could fall, maybe in Hello, Uma. Uma.
Ça ne m'aidera pas. Je vais retourner dans le casier là. Peut-être des journaux que j'ai zappés.
Central Outrider. That's the name of this newspaper. Benton Heights Post. The title of this publication appears on the front page. Bjorn City Paper. One of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary. Alexander Tribune. That's the name of this newspaper. Bjorn City Paper. I don't see anything noteworthy in this local newspaper, except for a pair of excellent photographs. Impossible.
Ok, donc faut que je prenne le bon journal en vrai.
Disney Banker. The title of this publication appears on the front page. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary. Disney Banker. A crude, low-budget, and obscure publication. Just like all the other ones I have at home in the file cabinet. I'm afraid that my photography career hasn't been terribly successful up to now. Impossible.
Ah, mais c'est laquelle la bonne?
Central Outrider. One of the Benton Heights Post. That's the name of this newspaper. Bjorn City Paper. The title of this publication appears on the front page. Alexander Tribune. One of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Fairview Vanguard. That's the name of this newspaper. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary. Fairview Vanguard. It's one of the many publications I was saving inside the file cabinet at home. Impossible. No matter. Elk Grove Echo. That's the name of this newspaper. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary. Elk Grove Echo. I don't see anything noteworthy in this local newspaper, except for a pair of Dolphin News. The title of this publication appears on the front page. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as Dolphin News, a crude, low-budget, and obscure publication. Just like all the other ones I have at home in the file cabinet. I'm afraid that my photography career hasn't... Impossible.
Ok, donc c'est pas ça.
Disney Banker, one of the many new... Inner Vision Weekly, that's the name of this newspaper. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary.
Je vais avoir que des photos moisies en vrai.
Inner Vision Weekly. It's one of the many publications I was saving inside the file cabinet at home. Impossible. No matter how hard I look, I can't find any address on the pages of this newspaper.
Y a pas une adresse là dans un de ces journaux moisis?
Greater City Horizon. The title of this publication appears on the front page. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary. Greater City Horizon. I don't see anything noteworthy in this local newspaper, except for a pair of excellent photographs. Why would I want to put this in there? Inner Vision Weekly, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. First, I'll put the newspaper as much as... Inner Vision Weekly, a crude, low budget, and I'm afraid that my photography... Home Daily Journal. That's the name of this newspaper. First, I'll put the news as much as I might. Home Daily Journal. It's one of the many publications I was saving inside the file cabinet at home. Impossible. Greenfield Pioneer. The title of this publication appears on the front page. Lakeshore Record Magazine, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. La Motte Citizen, that's the name of this newspaper. Little Laurel Informer, the title of this publication appears on the front page. Journal of Commerce, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Mills International Informer, that's the name of this newspaper. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as Objective Wanderer. The title of this publication appears on the front page. First, as much News and Reviews. Photo News Magazine. That's the name of this newspaper. Photo News. Rural Daily Advance. One of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. First, as much Question Mark Examiner. That's the name of this newspaper. Union Country Messenger. The title of this publication appears on the front page. Today Progress, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Sandy Ridge Sentinel. That's the name of this newspaper. Sandy Ridge. Solstice Times, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Solstice. X-Ray Medical Mag. The title of this publication appears in the front page. X-Ray Medical Mag, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. X-Ray Medical Mag. Village Green Preservation Society. The title of this publication appears in the front page. Village Green. Vanguard Letters. That's the name of this newspaper. (1001) News. 1001 News Gazette, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Zero Time Alternative News. The title of this publication appears in the front page. Young Zimmerman Chronicle, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Yellowtown Scribe. That's the name of this newspaper. Yellowtown Scribe. Central Outrider. Bjorn City Paper. That's the name of this newspaper. Bjorn City Paper. Alexander Tribune. One of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Fairview Vanguard. The title of this publication appears in the front page. Elk Grove Echo. That's the name of this newspaper. Dauphin News. The title of this publication appears in the front page. Disney Banker. Inner Vision Weekly. That's the name. Home Daily Journal. The title. Greater City Horizon. Greenfield Pine. Lakeshore Record. Little Laurel Informer. One of the many newspapers. Keystone Central. That's the name. Journal of Commerce. The Objective One. Mayfair Torch. Mayfair. Mills International. Red Valley Guard. That's the name of this newspaper. Paper and Pen. The title of this publication appears in the front page. Photo News Magazine, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary. Photo News Magazine. I don't see anything noteworthy in this local newspaper. Paper and Pen. That's the name. First, I'll put the new as much. Paper and Pen. A crude, low-budget, and obscure publication. I'm afraid that impossible. Why would I want to do something like that? What am I? Wrap it up? That wouldn't. (1001) First, up as much as 1001. 1001 News Gazette. I don't see anything. Impossible.
Putain, c'est lequel le bon là?
Young Zimmerman Chronicle, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. First, I'll put the news as much as I might. Young Zimmerman Chronicle, a crude, low-budget, and obscure publication. I'm afraid. 1000. Zero Time. Yellowtown Scribe. Yellowtown. First, I'll put it as much. Yellowtown Scribe. It's one of the many publications I was saving inside the file cabinet at home. Yellowtown Scribe. Impossible. X-Ray Medical Mag. The title of... First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying...
Truc médical là, il y a peut-être un truc d'intéressant. Même pas. Même pas, bordel. Low budget. Low budget.
Impossible. Easy to shame it. Whitewood Sentinel, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. First, as Whitewood Sentinel. It's one X-Ray Medical Vanguard Letters. The title of First, as much Vanguard Letters. I don't see anything noteworthy in this local newspaper, except for a pair of excellent... It's the note I found on the door to the apartment.
Oh, journal, mais quel journal? Ah, TNT.
Who could Sarah be? And this Chris, could he have something to do with the person I saw in my vision?
Un truc dans l'été là.
Rural Daily, Red Valley Guard, Paper and Pen, Photo News Magazine, Central Outrider, that's the name of the Cottage Times Register, Bjorn City Paper, Alexander Trip. First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place. As much as I might like...
Comment il s'appelle son journal là?
Alexander Tribune. A crude, low budget, and I'm afraid that my photography career has... Impossible. Fairview Vanguard. Elk Grove Echo. Dolphin News. Disney Banker. Inner Vision Weekly. Greater City Horizon. Greenfield Pioneer.
Ah, c'est là peut-être.
Union Country Messenger. The title of Today Progress, one of the many newspapers stored in the file. The New Truth. That's the name of this newspaper.
TNT, c'est celui-là.
First, I'll put the newspaper I took back in its place.
The New Truth,
as
TNT.
Much as I might like my old photos, I have no intention of carrying around any more paper than necessary. The New Truth. The newspaper for
Génie,
those who
bordel.
have woken up. It looks like a decent publication, even though it was produced on a shoestring budget. The address of the office is at the bottom of the first page, and the article on the front page is under the byline of one Chris Blunstone. The address and the
Ok, donc là j'ai l'adresse. GPS.
It seems like a good idea, but the GPS signal is very weak in here. I think it would be better to use it in an open area rather than indoors.
Oui, bordel. Casse les couilles, bordel, c'est pas possible.
Of course. The letters T and T on the letterhead of Sarah and Chris's note stand for the newspaper, The New Truth. I'll enter the address of the newspaper office shown on the front page. The map indicates a place near the main avenue of the city. Will it still be standing? Let's go find out.
Good God, Michael, is that you?
There's no question about it. That's the person I saw in my vision. The person mentioned in the note I found in my house. What was his name? Hello, Chris.
Come in, quickly. It's dangerous to be out on the streets at this hour. Michael, I'm so glad to see you again. After all that time without hearing from you, Sarah and I feared the worst. But tell me, why didn't you come sooner? Where have you been all this time?
From his enthusiastic welcome, it looks like this man and I were... But can I trust him? I don't know. Do I have any other choice? It's a long story, Chris. Very long.
I'm all ears, old friend.
And while I tell him everything I can remember, the few things in my memory since waking up in Rod's trailer, I see a mixture of tenderness and compassion on his face. Something I haven't seen in anyone else since waking up in this hellhole. I haven't the slightest doubt. I can trust this man.
I'm sorry for everything that happened, Michael. Sarah and I had been trying to get in touch with you for a long time, but the Great Wave made it impossible to find you. Now I know why. As a matter of fact, she went out to take that note to your house. I haven't seen her since. Tell me, did you find Sarah? Did she tell you she was coming here?
Sarah? I'm sorry, but I just found this handwritten note on the door. That's all.
Of course, forgive me. You already told me that you were blanked. You don't remember her. Sarah is my wife. Emily and she were close friends. In fact, they ran the Beechwood Oracle bookstore together, right below your apartment. That's how you started working with us at The New Truth. And the two of you, Emily and you, became like family to us. I want you to know that what happened to... We could hardly bring ourselves to speak to you at the time. I'm so sorry.
Ah d'accord, en fait c'était son boss lui.
What the hell are you talking about?
Good God. Don't tell me you don't remember that either. Emily died, Michael.
But that's impossible.
I'm sorry to be the one to make you relive that hell. You yourself told Sarah and me on the phone, a little while before you returned home. It happened while the two of you were in Japan, scarcely a few days before the Great Wave hit. At the paper, we sent you on an assignment to do a photo essay on those strange lights that had been sighted in the sky over Tokyo. So you got all your photography equipment together and set off right away. Emily went with you. You two decided to use the trip as a chance to work on your marriage, which had been in trouble for a long time. You were in bad shape, Michael. Your financial problems, her miscarriages, your violent, self-destructive nature. Emily couldn't take it anymore. You were putting her through too much back then.
Things are not going well between us, Michael. You know that.
It's only a rough patch. You'll see.
It's all your fault!
You have to get on top of this, Michael. It's destroying both of us. I'm afraid of you.
I can't help it. It's that demon. You know I can't help it.
From what you told us, things were getting better. After so many years, both of you were starting to rediscover each other.
Everything will be different. Remember that vacation we took to the beach when we were getting to know each other? Everything will go back to the way it was.
Promise me.
I promise.
Until one night in your hotel, Emily started to feel sick. It all happened very fast. She was having fainting spells, vomiting, running a fever. You took her to the nearest hospital where she was admitted immediately.
Emily, what's happening? Emily! Emily!
And a few hours later, they told you she was dead. They wouldn't even let you see her body. They wouldn't let you see her. The Japanese authorities hustled you off on the next plane
Il a été
out.
empoisonné, bordel.
It was all very strange and disconcerting. And the very night you arrived, the Great Wave hit.
Oh, Emily. Now I remember it. I remember everything.
I remember her pale, haggard face when she took my hand. Don't worry. It's nothing. Everything will be all right, she was saying, while they were wheeling her deep into the hospital. And she waved goodbye to me, forcing a smile to cover her fear. And then I saw it. I swear I could see how time was stopping. Little by little, in her eyes. Emily can't be dead. She talks to me. I've been hearing her voice for some time now. You must think I've lost my mind.
From the little we were able to talk to you before you got back, we could see that her death hit you terribly hard, Michael. You felt extremely guilty for the way you treated her those last few years. You said you would never be able to forgive yourself. It's possible that the pain warped your mind, but it's also possible that what is happening to you is real.
If Emily died before the Great Wave, how can what's happening to me be real?
Let me tell you something. In spite of the catastrophe, at the New Truth, we've never stopped working. For Sarah and for me, this newspaper is our life. And since the Great Wave, our contacts and confidential sources haven't stopped bringing us the most incredible and chilling information you could imagine. Thousands, no, millions of unexplained phenomena are taking place simultaneously all over the world, Michael. We're living through the strangest and most confusing times in our history, and any hypothesis, no matter how crazy, must be taken into consideration, even what you just told me. There's no question that something extraordinary is happening all over the world because of the Great Wave, the emergence of the dissolved, and our gradual approach to the dead synchronicity point.
Yes, the Great Wave. People have been telling me about it since the moment I woke up.
Everyone talks about it, but no one really knows what it is. Did you know that the catastrophe didn't just strike here, but all over the world? They keep us isolated and misinformed. But that's the truth. The Great Wave didn't just destroy this city. It affected the entire planet. And the most surprising thing is that it all happened simultaneously, at the exact same moment everywhere on Earth. Isn't that amazing? There's never been an official account of the catastrophe. They don't want to tell us. But at the New Truth, we know a lot of things they don't want us to know.
They? Who are they?
The elite, the army, the shadow government. Whoever is in control at any particular moment. They're determined to maintain the power structures of the old world by any means. The irony is, for the moment, any notion of order or control is absurd. The rules of the game have changed completely, and the entire world is slipping through their fingers. They're disoriented and frightened, and they'll do anything to prop up the old system. That's what makes them so dangerous. But information weakens them, makes them vulnerable. And that's why we have to keep investigating, Michael. It's our duty to uncover the truth.
The dissolved. That horrible disease.
Yes, the fate of those poor devils. That's the cruelest and saddest part of this story. From reliable sources, we've been able to find out that while it is true the Great Wave multiplied the number of dissolved drastically, a few early cases of dissolution were actually detected hours, even days before the catastrophe.
What? There were cases of the dissolved before the Great Wave?
Yes, Michael. Just a handful of victims scattered across the globe. But the timing is significant. What's more, people have told us shocking stories about those victims.
I could tell you one. Colin, the only child of the family that took care of me in the refugee camp, is a dissolved. Just a few hours ago, in a deep trance, he shouted out my name, insisting that he needed to talk to me. He kept saying that he wanted to give me a message from Emily.
Good God, Michael. And what was that message?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I will. His condition is very serious, and I have to hurry.
If only we had more information about the disease, what it is, where it came from. If only we knew a little bit more about those strange underground highways they talk about so much during their trances. We need more information. At the New Truth, all we have are a few eyewitness reports here and there, and a handful of tests for detecting the disease that we were able to steal from one of the cleanup brigades. And that's not very much when you're trying to put together a puzzle as obscure and complicated as this one.
Dead synchronicity? What's that?
It's very difficult to explain, Michael. We're still so short of information. But I will tell you one thing. Time is running out. The Great Wave triggered a landslide of death and destruction that's accelerating by the day. And the end will be absolutely devastating.
Look around you, Chris. It's impossible for the situation to get worse.
If the theory about the approach of the dead synchronicity point is true, the future that awaits us will make everything we've seen up to now seem like a walk in the park, Michael. The arrival of the dead synchronicity point will mean the end of the world as we know it. The end of the laws of nature, the laws of physics, the very meaning of existence. And with them, of course, the end of the human species on the face of the earth. Our inability to adapt will wipe us out in a matter of minutes, and indeed, in some cases, it's already happening. But the good news is that if this hypothesis is correct, the very nature of this anomaly could also allow us to reverse the situation.
Reverse the situation? You mean avoid the future you're talking about? Avoid the consequences of the Great Wave? Is that possible?
Of course it is. How can I explain it to you? No, not yet. It would be too complex for you to understand, and I don't want to create any false hope. I can't tell you anything more for the time being. We need more information, more sources, and we need them urgently. Time is running out, in every sense of the word.
I need answers too, Chris. Where can I find
Any
the information you
dangerous
need?
too, Chris?
How can I help you?
A few days ago, one of our confidential sources in the Army contacted the New Truth. He told us he had a bombshell in his hands, an official report of the results of all the investigations conducted to date on the Great Wave, the Dissolved, and the Dead Synchronicity Point. It's a real gold mine, Michael. The answer to our prayers.
And where is that report now?
The same day she left the note at your house, Sarah was supposed to meet our source at the same place we always meet people who cooperate with the New Truth, which had been the safest place in the city up to that point, the sewers. But she never came back, Michael. I was hoping she'd found you. Or perhaps some problem had come up in the sewers, and she'd taken refuge in your apartment.
Don't worry, Chris. Sarah will be fine.
Yes, I know. Sarah is a strong woman and very resourceful. I know she can take care of herself. If you want to help us, Michael, get us that report. I'm trapped in this basement in this wheelchair, but I know that you'll be able to get it for me. It's vitally important that we get it. That's where we'll find the answers to all our questions. Even answers about Emily and her messages. Follow the trail of Sarah and our source. Go down into the sewers and find some clue that can lead us to them. But be very careful down there. It's dangerous.
Dangerous? You just told me the sewers were the safest place in the city.
Indeed, they were. That's why they became the perfect hiding place for the Dissolved and their families. For some time now, the Army has been reinforcing its dragnets for catching the Dissolved hiding in the sewers. If they find you in one of those tunnels, they'll shoot first and ask questions later.
I'll be fine.
Take this. You'll need something to guide you. The city sewer system is a veritable labyrinth.
J'ai la carte des égouts. Donc là, je vais pouvoir aller les explorer en vrai.
Michael, please bring me that report. And for the love of God, bring Sarah back to me safe and sound.
I'll do it. Locked with a key. I'm afraid that Chris doesn't trust anyone, and the way things turned out after the Great Wave, he's doing the right thing. The entire basement is filled with books, albums, file cabinets, and photos. You can even find the odd exotic object in all this. Sarah and Chris accumulated enough material to fill a museum of curiosities. Covered with scrawled notes, open books, and dirty coffee mugs. I get the impression that Chris lives, works, eats, and sleeps at this enormous desk. While I can't remember her clearly, looking at this photograph gives me a pleasant sense of tranquility. I'm sure Sarah and I were very good friends before the world collapsed. Oh Lord, I'm completely exhausted. I feel like I've been wandering around this new world for centuries, but I can't stop to rest now. Not until Chris and I have uncovered the secrets in that army report. Dozens of documents and newspaper clippings about conspiracies, attacks, inexplicable occurrences. Looking at the topics of all this material, I can imagine what the editorial line of The New Truth is.
Ok.
The walls and arches in this basement look as thick as in a cathedral crypt. I suppose that this, plus the fact that we're underground, explains how the New Truth office is still in such good condition after the Great Wave.
Ok, donc j'ai rien à récupérer. On va aller explorer la... On va aller explorer les égouts.
It's a map with handwritten notes, describing how to get to Sarah's meeting place with her source. Without this, walking through those tunnels would be a rather dangerous waste of time. I wouldn't... I can't... This camera... I wouldn't... There are no Here goes. I'll use the map Chris gave me as a guide. These tunnels are a real labyrinth. This is the place marked on the map, the place where Sarah and her confidential source were found. The underground rivers that carried the sewage and garbage from Doomsday City lead here. If I ever thought I couldn't fall any lower, this place helps me remember how mistaken I was. Dozens of dark tunnels converge in this area, most of them closed or inaccessible from here. This place must be the true subterranean heart of the city. There's a very familiar sound coming from the depths of the tunnel behind this grate. It's a subway train. I don't get it. If they boarded up the subway stops and shut down the subway service, what the devil are those trains carrying? And where are they going?
Train souterrain, bordel.
I've been able to remove some of the waste, but I won't be able to remove the rest of it with my hands. This stuff is too snarled up.
Cette biche.
All right. Let's see what the devil's so tangled up in here. My God! Sarah!
Elle est morte?
A bullet's torn off her jaw, but her face is still recognizable. Poor Chris. How am I going to break this to him? Whatever's on this flash drive, it cost poor Sarah her life, so I'm not going to destroy it. One bullet hit her in the jaw, and another went through part of her neck. There's no doubt that Sarah bled to death, while using the last of her strength, trying to drag herself out of here.
Ok, bon bah comme ça elle est morte. Problème réglé.
Hello, Chris.
Michael, you're back already? Tell me, did you find Sarah? Did you bring the report she went out to get?
I brought the report. Here it is.
Oh, that's great news. I knew you could do it. Ah, damn it. I should have guessed. I was expecting a paper dossier, not an electronic document. We have a serious problem, Michael.
Problem? What's wrong?
We're not in the old world anymore, and access to electricity is a privilege very few people have nowadays. The good news is that I was able to...
Il a son ordinateur portable, bordel.
The bad news is that we don't have anywhere to plug it in.
What can we do?
If we want to find out the secrets in this report, we need electricity. Bring me a generator with enough fuel, and we'll find all the answers we need, Michael. But tell me, please, did you find Sarah? Why didn't she come back with you? What happened?
I'm sorry, Chris. Sarah's dead.
God. But what?
It looks like she and your confidential source were ambushed and shot by soldiers in the sewers. I found Sarah's body in one of the graded tunnels, near the refugee camp. I took the report out of her hands, but I had to leave her there.
Oh, my poor Sarah. She didn't deserve that. Please, Michael, don't leave her body to rot in the sewers. I beg of you. Do it for me. For Sarah. For Emily.
I'll do what I can, Chris. I promise you.
Now, get me that electric generator. Time is running out.
Générateur électrique, on en a dans le camp. Et son corps, je peux peut-être le mettre dans le sac là. Yeah.
Before leaving his house, I shoot a furtive glance at Chris. He's gazing at Sarah's photo in silence, completely lost in thought. Maybe I should have lied about what happened to her. Told him that she got away, leaving the report behind. That she's safe and sound, and just waiting for the right moment to come back. But the truth is a poisonous inheritance from the old world. What good does it do to know it, if it snatches away your last hope?
Il va se buter, bordel. Je la mets dans le sac. Il va sauter en haut d'une falaise, ce bâtard. Prends ça.
This corpse deserves a decent burial, not to be put in a dirty, used plastic bag.
Ah, vas-y. Invasion of the body, nature. Oh, peut-être le barman il a une pellicule.
Hello again. I'm not really interested.
You talking to us?
I don't have anything else to discuss with you two.
Okay, come back anytime you like. You paid for it.
Ah, j'avais peut-être des trucs à récupérer dans son coffre.
What do we have here? As one would expect, there are only old magazines, stacks of paper, and outdated printing supplies here. No, wait a minute. It looks like there's also film for instant cameras here.
Voilà, parfait. Et on va pouvoir prendre en photo l'hôpital.
Perfect. Now I can load the camera. The tab that closes the film compartment is broken. I can't use it like this. I need something to hold it in place, or else the film will keep falling out.
Ça là, bien
Tie
parfait.
the wire to the camera? I'm afraid I'm going to have to be a bit more subtle if I want to repair this broken tab.
Ah bon?
I don't think... I'm afraid I can't... Better not. I wouldn't know how to use this map with that. Why would I want to do something... I can't believe it. The tooth fragment fits perfectly into the slot for the...
Avec son fragment dedans, bordel.
The film compartment.
Génie, bordel. Ok. Réparer un appareil photo avec une dent cassée. C'est magique. Maintenant, je peux prendre la zone de stockage de barils en photo.
Okay, here goes. Damn it, it came out too dark, and the flash doesn't help much. You can hardly make out the depot. The photo is useless like this. I need more light.
De ma gueule ou quoi? Alors, si je fais ça.
This camera already has a built-in flash. I'm quite a few yards away. It would be useless to try to light that up from here.
D'accord, donc
I
il faut
have a flashlight, not an anti-aircraft searchlight.
éclairer la zone. Peut-être qu'en éclairant l'hôpital, peut-être. Là, si je remonte par là. Ouais, c'est éclairé. Du génie intergalactique.
Let's take a look. Perfect.
Ok, donc maintenant je peux aller voir le gros lard. Tout s'enchaîne là, bordel. Je peux aller voir le chasseur de ses morts. Il va m'aider à parler au possédé. Par Satanas.
I've brought what we agreed. Here's a photograph of the fuel depot.
Fantastic, Mike. Let's see what you've got there. This is incredible. Those pigs have been storing thousands of gallons of fuel, and all within our reach. With your ID, all we have to do is go into the compound, say, hello, boys, and bring it all back here. You've just made me very, very happy, dude. I knew I wasn't wrong about you.
Now you have to hold up your end of the bargain.
Yes, of course I will, Mike. You know I'm a man of my word. Besides, these are hard times, and we have to help one another, dude. I'll get Rod and his wife out of their trailer, so you can have a little time alone with the boy. You have my word, and my complete discretion.
But remember that you promised that we'd do it my way, quietly and with no violence. I don't want anybody getting hurt. I just need your men to distract his parents on some pretext for long enough for me to slip in there, okay?
Of course, Mike. You have my word that we'll only do what's necessary. Only what's strictly necessary. Give me a few minutes and then go to the trailer. Everything will be fine when you get there.
Okay.
Va
Before
buter
I
tout le
go,
monde, bordel.
Can I ask you for something else?
Today, you've been the bearer of the best possible news, dude. So shoot. I'll see what I can do.
I need an electric generator urgently.
Hey, dude, calm down. I think you misinterpreted my offer. Since the Great Wave, a generator has become worth more than the lives of 100 people in this camp. Don't think...
But I just gave you access to thousands of gallons of fuel.
But those barrels aren't walking out of that place on their own. My men and I are going to have to risk our hides by going into the lion's den. I'm sorry, but the matter is closed.
Some soldiers murdered a friend of mine in the sewers. I need you to take care of her body.
Well, murdered in the sewers? And what the hell was your friend doing there? Wait, don't answer. I've heard about that custom among some relatives of the sick. It means she was hiding a dissolved in the sewers. Or am I mistaken?
Yes, you're absolutely, totally, and completely wrong. I'm not gonna tell you what she was doing there. About her commitment to learning the truth, to changing things in the shithole left behind by the Great Wave, where you move around like a fish in water. You'd be incapable of understanding it. You couldn't even imagine making a sacrifice like that. Even I have a hard time imagining it. It's none of your business.
Listen, Mike, you know what I think of those disease carriers and of the people who hide them. For everyone's sake, they all belong in the hands of the cleanup brigades. But you know what? Your intentions are good, giving a friend a decent burial. You're loyal to your friends, and I like that. Above all, you've got to be faithful. Loyalty is everything in this new world. So consider it done. I'll take care of it, dude.
Her body is in the sewer tunnel that comes out by the entrance to the camp.
Your friend will have a decent resting place. I give you my word. You should be going now. I've got to get the trailer sorted out. Give me a few minutes and then you can go there, okay? Adios, dude.
Ok, c'est la mafia en fait, ce mec.
Wait a minute. What's that noise? Why is everyone fleeing? What's going on? The cleanup brigades are coming. And they're heading for Rod's trailer. God damn it! The hunters turned them in! That animal turns Colin and his family in!
No, he's not sick. It's a mistake. Don't take him away. It's all a misunderstanding.
It's just a question of minutes before those bastards break into the trailer and take the boy. One of those vehicles of terror the members of the cleanup brigade used to get around. The ambulance's siren is making an infernal noise. Good God, it's deafening. The brigade workers are ready to take Colin away. Rod is blocking their way. But I don't think that poor man will be able to hold them back for very long.
No!
Now I understand why this window hasn't been cleaned. It gives Rod and his family some privacy without raising suspicions about the boy's illness. Besides, that glass looks pretty thick. The boy's cries can't... Okay, I've got to act fast. The noise the ambulance makes will cover the sound of the glass breaking.
Parfait, bordel.
In spite of the noise I made breaking the glass and the ambulance's deafening siren, little Colin seems to be asleep or in a trance.
Michael? Michael, is that you?
Yes, Colin. It's me. But how do you know my name?
Emily told me a lot about you. That's how I know you. She gave me a message. She said it was very important that I give it to you. What's all that noise outside, Michael? Where are my parents?
It's nothing, Colin. Your parents will be back very soon. Don't worry. But it's impossible for you to have spoken to Emily. She's no longer with us.
Yes, she is. Emily is always with me. When I go down the underground highways, she's there, waiting for me. Emily gave me a message, Michael. She told me it was something very, very important.
Tell me what happens on those underground highways, Colin.
The highways are very dark, and I don't want to go down there. They're too scary. There's no light, and they're full of ghosts. There are only shadows and voices down there. Everyone seems very sad and angry, and they tell me things I don't want to know, things I don't even understand. At first, I hid the whole time, so they wouldn't find me. Or I wandered around by myself for hours in the dark, until I met Emily. Now I'm not so afraid of the underground highways, Michael, because she's always there.
You say that Emily takes care of you? But how is that possible?
She protects me. She keeps me from feeling scared, because I used to be really scared. I didn't know what was happening to me. I didn't understand anything. But now with Emily by my side, she tells me that what's happening to me is normal, that I'm just sick, but that the sickness will go away soon, and that the pain will go away for good then, that she also got really scared when she got sick.
Emily told you that she also got sick?
Yes, she told me that she went through this before me, that a while back she got the same sickness I have. She told me that she felt very lonely too, and that the pain was unbearable, but that it finally ended. And that's why I shouldn't worry. That the pain and She's very kind to me, Michael. She's very kind to everybody, isn't she?
Yes, Colin. Yes, she is. Emily contracted the same disease. No. It can't be. Emily, a dissolved? Is that why they didn't let me see your body? Is that the reason for all the secrecy surrounding your death? And what is this message you have to give me that...
She told me that she couldn't come back to be with us, that she will be trapped forever on the underground highways, and that the same thing will happen to me very soon. That's why she asked me to tell you that we're connected, Michael. She told me that you'd understand. We're connected.
Connected? What does that mean, Colin?
Emily told me there was and that's why there's still a chance we can be saved, but that only you could do it, while there's still time. She told me that can you make everything go back to the way it was, Michael? I don't want to be stuck on the underground highways forever. Can you really make everything go back the way it was, Michael?
We're connected? What does that mean? I don't understand anything. This is all crazy.
Michael, help me. It hurts so much. Make it stop.
Colin, what's happening?
Make it stop. Please.
Hey, get out of our way and let us do our job.
No, don't go in there. I beg of you.
My son! My son!
Colin, no! No!
C'est désintégré, bordel.
Damn it. I can't breathe. If it's true that there's a way to change all this, I have to find it now. I don't think I can stand it any longer. I don't think anyone can.
Parti en couille de ouf là.
Hey dude, back already? Nice to see you again around here. Your timing is perfect. So tell me, how did things go with the kid?
Ruthless bastard. You called the cleanup brigades.
Hey, calm down, Mike. Tone it down, okay? Of course I called the cleanup brigades. What did you expect? I was curious about your interest in the boy, so I did a little investigating on my own. My informants poked around Rod's trailer a little, and they discovered some things. Enough to find out how great a risk that kid and his disease represented to camp safety. These are hard times, and we have to take care of each other, dude. It's our common responsibility. Besides, you already know what I think of those disease.
We agreed that we'd do things my way. We agreed that no one would get hurt.
No, dude. You're confused. I promised you I would do only what was strictly necessary to let you talk to the kid alone. And that's what I did. I made sure the soldiers gave you as much time as you needed to do whatever it was you had to do with that boy. Frankly, Mike, I don't understand why you're complaining.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Is that it?
Of course, Mike. You gotta do what you gotta do. And that's something you already know better than anyone. But now, sit down and have a drink with me. We got things to celebrate. Thanks to the photo you brought us, the plan to get our hands on that fuel at the medical center has been finalized. That depot holds more gasoline than we could ever have imagined in our wildest dreams. We're going over there in a few hours. Hey, Michael, today is turning out to be a great day, don't you think? One of the best I can remember.
No, I'm not gonna drink a toast with you because I don't have anything to celebrate. You're a despicable animal.
Hey, watch what you're saying, dude.
A pathetic, ignorant bastard. Garbage from the old world you were so happy to see swept away.
Watch out, Mike. I warned you not to disrespect me in my bar, in front of my men. Don't keep tempting fate.
Are you really offended? You're a vile insect with no morals. So God and the devil were good to you, you say? Open your eyes and look around, you paranoid worm. Because you're nothing but a violent, drunken, demented psychopath. Just like your father.
Turn off that music.
Turn off that music right now!
Listen, Michael. There's already been too much commotion in the refugee camp, and more trouble is not in my interest. That's the only thing stopping me from tearing you limb from limb right here and now, and stashing your remains in one of those drums out there. But another word, and you're a dead man. Got it? One more word out of you, and I swear that tomorrow morning they'll find your stinking corpse so tangled up in the barbed wire that they'll have to chop you up to get you out of there. And I don't care where you hide or how far you run, because you know I'll find you in the end. Now get out of my sight.
Get out of my sight!
Il est énervé, bordel.
This revolver still has 2 bullets in the chamber. The ones Rod and his wife were saving for when Colin passed away. It's possible that by taking it, I've saved their lives, or, on the other hand, condemned them to go on living. No question, that pair of ruthless animals have it coming, but the hunter made it clear. If you touch a hair on their heads, you're a dead man.
Hey, you guys.
You talking to us?
I don't have anything else to discuss with you two.
Okay, come back anytime you like.
Comment je vais faire pour avoir le générateur là?
Open to you all night long. What exactly do you think you're doing?
Hey, pal, touch that generator and you're a dead man. My partner and I don't kid around when it comes to defending what's ours. That clear?
Extremely. I was just curious and wanted to see this relic up close. You don't have to get nervous.
Rose is waiting for someone to free her from her captors. Talking to her again would only feed the delusions of her warped mind even more. No doubt someone but the... No, talk... There's makeup, I suppose. It would break... They're not going to let me take... Not even a top fashion photographer. I'm afraid I can't do... It doesn't... It's my tour guide and my journeys. It's a map with handwritten notes, describing how to get to Sarah's meeting place with her source. Without this, walking through those tunnels would be a rather dangerous... Forget it. I'm not going... Poor Colin. Where could truth is? It was the high...
Ouais, ils ont enterré son corps, donc je peux peut-être retourner voir au journal.
Hello, Chris.
Michael, did you bring the generator?
No, I still haven't found it. But I'm working on it.
If we want to find out the secret, bring me...
I'll do it.
But hurry.
After the Great Wave, like an... It looks like... Now that all...
Ou alors celui de l'hôpital. Peut-être que je peux allumer la...
That's the depot. It's a...
Peut-être que je peux allumer la lumière. Pendant qu'ils sont en train de cambrioler.
A few powerful spotlights light the contents of the depot. This place is glowing like a gold mine right now. No. No. No.
Moi je vais pouvoir faire pour récupérer...
It's a... I don't... What the... Sarah's corpse is gone. At least the devious cockroach took her body away, like we agreed.
It's like a loop that keeps repeating. Over and over again. A damn nightmare that repeats over and over again.
I'm not going to take any. An Hello, Uma. Uma.
Talk that will be very...
This house already has an owner. It does. Those are. I don't quite see.
Oh no. It's like...
Good God.
Où ils ont mis le cadavre, bordel.
This clandestine bar is now the lion's den. If the hunter finds me inside, he won't hesitate to eliminate me on the spot. I have no...
Comment je peux récupérer le...
I don't... It's the device the cleanup brigades use to navigate during their raids. It looks... I just have to enter an address. Impossible. There are... That wouldn't serve. Wearing one of these brings certain privileges. They outnumber me, and they're well trained. I'd barely have before they blew. I'm not gonna shoot at the sun. Use this. I'm not gonna shoot at that. I'd only waste a bullet. Besides, I don't have great faith in my aim. I don't think I'd get... I'm not gonna shoot at the sun. I wouldn't waste too much time. I'm afraid I can't. It doesn't seem... It doesn't...
Pas là.
No. Computers are when the hardware you're trying. I don't have a good feel. There's already an. I don't quite. It doesn't.
Oh. Ou alors je fais... Ah non, je peux pas vendre l'appareil.
The cat. I've already poked around enough.
Non, c'est pas ici. C'est dans le camp alors, hein.
Who would want to keep a souvenir of the faces of these? Use this here? Better not. Better not. Besides. These two kids are, I think it's about, I prefer to, it doesn't seem like, I don't think I'd get, impossible. That must be that strange phenomenon in the sky. I've heard people talking. God is urging his angels to punish us. Maybe some other time. Besides, I need a generator and it's got to be in perfect condition. I'm not gonna shoot at that. Besides, although these two goons don't deserve any, but the hunter made. I'm afraid I can't. I'm not gonna shoot at this.
Fais pas ça. Si je leur échange ça.
Not even a top fashion photographer could take a flattering picture of those two individuals. I'm not gonna give it to anyone. No matter how hard I try to plug these in, I'd need a miracle to get these burnout lights to work again. No matter how hard. I don't think. It's the device that looks like some. I just have to enter an address. And there are no indications. I can't use these two. There are no. I would. There are no. These guys have improvised a card table for their poker game by putting a plank on. There's no doubt that necessity is. The ground in this lot is full of. If you want. Oh no.
It's amazing. Everything's changing. Everything.
Lui qui est connecté entre les deux mondes en vrai.
I don't understand.
C'est lui qui est connecté entre les deux mondes.
Forget it. I'm not going back into that room. Forget it. Forget.
Bon, comment je peux faire là? Faut absolument le générateur.
No. It's like floating in a dense liquid, while everything around me changes. Good God. I have no... This bright light leaves no doubt about where the entrance... There are some that end up... It doesn't look... It doesn't seem like there's anything interesting enough to immortalize on film there.
Alors je vais revoir l'autre là. Pour lui dire que son corps il a bien été enterré. Que le corps de sa femme a bien été enterré en vrai.
Hello, Chris.
Michael,
No,
if we bring me the...
I'll do it.
But hurry.
It doesn't seem like a... I don't quite... I'm not... This... An enormous... The chaos... After the... Like, it looks... Oh, Lord. I'm completely exhausted. I feel like I've been wandering around this new world for centuries. But I can't stop to rest...
Ok, donc il peut pas se reposer.
It's Sarah, smiling at the camera. From another time. Another world. Damn it. I can't get that stare... Use this... I'm not gonna... Some of it looks...
Rien à récupérer ici. Hein. Comment je vais récupérer le générateur chez les tocards là?
This home already...
Cette chaîne elle sert à quoi bordel?
The lights are broken and burnt out. I don't think doing this... I don't see how to use the flashlight with this. Better not. I don't think... Well, I don't... This is the filthy improvised brothel, where those two goons are holding These enormous walls of scrap metal surround the dirty lot where Rose lives. A forest of metal that leads to the heart of the castle, where the captive princess is waiting rescue. I wish this were nothing more than a story dreamed up by that poor, oversized little girl. But that's not the way it is. These enormous... A forest... I wish... I'm not going to give it to any... I think this object is too... Not even... These enormous...
Ah, si je la prends en photo, non?
I prefer to hold on to it. I'm not gonna... I don't think... These guys have improvised. There's no doubt. That wouldn't serve. Out of the...
doesn't seem like a good...
What exactly? Hey, pal. Touch that generator and you're a dead man. My pun...
Extreme. You don't have... The pigs in uniform, but not prolonged contact with prolonged. I have no besides.
Comment je peux faire? Comment je peux faire?
This is gonna be hard, very hard. But those children are innocents in all this, and those ruthless savages are about to kill them in cold blood. I have no other choice.
God damn it! Had the visions again! Not now. I have to do this. I've got to do this. Ah, my head!
You've got to stop this, Michael. I can't stand it anymore. This has to end.
I can't help it. It's that demon. You know I can't help it.
Please, Michael. Please. Make it stop.
Yes.
Oh.
That tiny, cowardly demon. I remember. That brutal sensation of acid running through your veins. Corroding, little by little, anything good and decent you might have left inside you. Turning it into pain, rot, and emptiness. I remember it. I remember. I can smell it, feel it, touch it. No, please, don't do it. No! That cowardly demon, that dark and intimate specter that only you know, that gains strength in this new world. Digging its claws into your soul like a jagged piece of glass. Whispering in your ear that what you're doing is right. Because nobody has the authority to tell you otherwise. Good God, what have I done? What have I done? Oh, my head! What the hell's going on?
Pour découvrir les secrets du rapport, Chris a besoin d'un générateur électrique. Ouais, d'accord, mais... Comment je récupère le générateur électrique là? Et il y en a un ici, donc il faut... faudrait que j'arrive à les faire bouger en vrai.
Hey, you got it. You talking to us?
So this business is really just another one of the hunter's rackets?
Hey, careful what you say. We're independent businessmen.
The hunter just lets us operate in his territory. He gives us protection and sends us clients. In exchange for a percentage, of course.
Fair's fair.
Yeah, fair's fair.
Of course. No doubt. I just hope that someday those bastards find themselves face to face with some of that fairness they talk about, wherever it might come from. You two are despicable. Rose told me.
I think we'll have to teach that naughty little girl how.
Don't jump to Let me tell you how we found it. They left
Crows with
somewhere.
only.
And the what? But I don't. Oh,
You paid for her. The door.
No doubt about it. Someone put the. No, talking to her again would only feed the delusions of her warped mind even more. Rose already has enough lights hanging. It would break Rose's heart. It would shake. I'd rather the new world is. A string of Christmas lights is the reflections of the colors and more. This is the. No matter how hard I try to plug these in, this thing is. I can't use these two. I don't see any way to use the GPS with that. I don't think doing this would serve any purpose. No matter how hard I try to plug these in, I'd need a mirror. This plastic bag is this.
Je sais pas comment je peux les faire bouger là.
what the heck?
Those savage, at least. From here, I'll have, in truth, the if I'm not surprised. Great. Awesome. It must, that's what.
What is this? It's. Are all of them dissolved?
Dans le démon, bordel.
How many patients can there be packed in here? Dozens? Hundreds? This is horrible.
It's sagging. It's sagging. I see a yellow with a handful what seems. I don't see. I'm afraid I can't do that. I'm not gonna... This rat playing with... I'm not gonna get... Hello, Uma. What do you know about...
Those savage heart... that...
Tell me everything...
there, but...
What?
There, that's so... it's... and it's... That they...
Comment je vais faire, bordel?
And then we... It's now... and then... Talk that will...
The future is from the... Unless this rattle playing with it. It's one of those plastic bags used to wrap up the patients in their final hours until they finally dissolve. The damp sticky texture alone sends shivers.
Ah, ou alors je retourne dans son appartement, non? C'était un truc dans son appartement, je sais pas.
It doesn't look like... A few powerful... This place is... The front door of this apartment has been reinforced with various... Despite the surveillance by the soldiers, the people who live in this building... Getting into a punch... I don't quite... Michael Argent. Photographer. It's funny. Even though I can't remember any, I can't help feeling a certain sense of pride. No. The lights are broken and burnt out. I'm not going to use this. The lights... These spotlights are as useless as the burnt out... I don't see why I would want to use... This melancholy music makes my hair stand on end. I seem to be hearing the sad voice of Emily. Where are you? What for? None of these titles, it's like looking into a mirror. No. Whoever designed this building didn't go to... There are pillars and a line of... Whoever designed... There are pillars and a line of tiny screws holds up the white backdrop that hangs from the crossbeam. I wouldn't waste too much time on this. pounding on the screws. I wouldn't waste too much. Whoever designed this build, there are a line. Better not. That would be a waste of time. The camera is loaded. I don't. No. Why would I want to? I don't think it would. Maybe to the pre-Great Wave Michael, what's in this cabinet was important. But to me, there's nothing of interest in that file cabinet full of old papers. Maybe to the... But...
D'accord, donc il n'y a plus rien d'intéressant là. J'ai un gun, bordel.
I don't think... I'm not gonna... Besides, I don't have great faith in my aim. It's the device the cleanup brigades use to navigate during their raids. Sort of an electronic map. It looks like some satellites are actually still working. I just have to enter an address, and this screen will show me where it is. That wouldn't serve. There are no I don't think it's... I can't use... It was in another... But I've already... I'm afraid it doesn't...
Non, c'est pas là.
Burnt paper. The whole place is full of it. Hey, wait! One of these posters has a photograph of Reverend Blake on. The Beechwood Oracle Bookstore invites you to a reading of The Annihilation of Time, where you can meet the book's author, Edward Blake. That explains why that deranged preacher had the card from this place in his pocket. I don't have a good feeling. And better now they look like maybe... No, when the whole... The only light and the...
Non, c'est pas ici.
It seems like these a quick confined. Dozens of which. What for? What for? The cable's too high. I have no intention of climbing back up there. I have no intention. I've never... And if I blew up the entire camp? I've never figured out exactly what all those drums can... And if I blew up the entire camp? I've never... And if I... Dented... Doesn't look like...
Alors il y a un truc, il y a le métro dans les égouts là, il y a un truc dans les égouts que j'ai pas grillé.
A bunch of shack. I can't... Rod didn't want... Now this...
Aller dans les égouts.
Sarah's corpse is gone. At least that devious cut. In the distance... The entrance is boarded up, and the service, who uses them? And to get where? There's a very familiar sound coming from the depths of the tunnel behind this grate. It's a subway train. I don't get it. If they boarded up the subway stops and shut down the subway service, what the devil are those trains? That skylight
Ah ouais, lucarne.
is the only lighting in this place. The combination of the architecture, light and water, give this place an unearthly appearance. It looks like a cathedral built inside the sewers.
Comment je peux passer?
This is where that river of filthy water ends. It's funny. Despite the nauseating stench it gives off, there's something hypnotic about that viscous green waterfall. There's a very familiar... It's a subway. I don't get it. What the devil... Dozens of dark tunnels converge this...
Ou alors c'est dire qu'il y a un passage objet dans l'eau.
It's chilling to see it barely able to keep afloat in the raw sewage, especially when I can guess who the owner of that shoe was. First, I need a proper hook for this fishing rod. Even so, I don't quite see why I'd want that shoe. I don't think it would do any good to connect the wire to this. I don't think better not. I wouldn't be able to reach it from here. I don't think there's any... The underground...
Dans l'eau.
I'm not gonna shoot. Besides, I don't think it would do...
Ils l'ont balancé dans la flotte.
Sarah's corpse is gone. Getting into a punching match with this wouldn't help me at all. Thick bars at the end of the pipe, extremely hard and... I don't quite see how I... That skylight leading to the outside is the only lighting in this place. The combination of the architecture, light and water, give this place an unearthly appearance. It looks like a cathedral built inside the sewers.
Il y a un étage dans les égouts, bordel.
All that's left inside is some mud. Someone went to a lot of trouble, I'm afraid. Judging from its girth, this giant must have lived for hundreds of years before someone got the bright idea of cutting it down. Now the stump is guarding the entrance to the park. The entrance is boarded up. Who uses them? And to get a metal crowbar against bricks and cement? Seems like a lost cause. I'm not gonna shoot at that. Besides... this home already has an... this house already...
Non, dans l'église, là, il n'y a plus rien, là. À moins qu'il y ait un passage secret, je sais pas.
This enormous stone cross cast... perhaps that wasn't the original intention. Now, I realize I don't...
Oh no. It's starting again. It's amazing. Everything's changing. Everything.
Everything's mute. I don't understand. Use this heat. The lights are... I don't think I... Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue. After the Great Wave, this device is a real, like an ancient... it looks like it's in good shape, except for one thing. There's nowhere to plug it in. How could I use the GPS here? I prefer to... Truth is... it doesn't seem like a good... now that I've taken the film all coated... it's Chris. He's impatiently waiting for that electrical generator so we can uncover the secrets in the Army report. It's amazing that despite the tragedy, Chris hasn't lost his passion for... I guess that's his...
Non, le générateur il est dans le camp, putain, donc ça peut être que dans le camp là.
They're not going to let me take them, even though it's just small change. These guys are playing poker like those coins were worth millions. I'm afraid I can't do that. No heroics, the hunter said. Although these two goons don't deserve any better, I'm afraid that if I do it, no question. But the hunter made it clear. If you touch a hair on their heads, you're a dead man.
Hello, Mr. Sleepyhead. Have
Il
you
va
come
lui
to
mettre une
help us?
cartouche.
I don't know whether who I was before the Great Wave entitles me to make any kind of moral judgments. But what I do know is that the hunter and his men are a real cancer on this new world, which is the only thing that really counts right now. The girl has a right to defend herself, that bastard.
Ça va partir en couille.
So someone should give her the chance to do that. It's only fair, right? I can't get you out of here, Rose. I'm sorry. You're the only one that can do it.
Thank you.
As she was picking up the revolver, she gave me a look of determination that I didn't know she had in her. Rose acted so quickly that I barely saw what happened through the crack in the door of her van. Her hand was steady, even when the second man begged for his life, sobbing and groveling on the floor.
Encore mieux quoi, il lui a filé le gun.
Blood splattered all over her.
Elle va les déglinguer, bordel.
And then she let the revolver drop and sat down, lost in her own world. And she didn't do or say anything else, holed up in her tiny, delirious inner landscape. There she had everything she could ever need, safe at last from the new world, which she will probably never return to. I'm afraid those I can't, even if that's... It's Rose. I'm afraid there's no point in bothering her. Fortunately for her, Rose isn't here anymore. Seeing the current condition of the players, I doubt anyone will ever play cards on that table again. No, the water turned the generator into an enormous hunk of scrap metal. Why would I want to take it with me in this condition? What the hell? Another one of those repeating images. Of those damn time loops.
No. Rose. No, don't do it. No!
It's Rose, killing her captors again. But there's something in this one that makes it different. It feels more real and more intense than the other times. These are the remains of one of Rose. I'm not gonna pick up that revolver. No. Why would... The lights are broken and burnt out. I'm not gonna waste time on this. It doesn't look like it's having any effect. No. No. Why would I want to take...
Le générateur est baisé.
There are a few lousy coins. They don't look like they're worth much. Just a few loose pennies.
Ah ouais, avec ça, je vais pouvoir dévisser... C'est bon. Comprendre. Avec les pièges, je vais pouvoir dévisser les vis dans mon appart. Je vais prendre le générateur qu'il y a dans l'appart d'à côté de chez moi, non? Un truc dans le genre. Du génie intergalactique. Non, c'est pas là.
Let's see. The coins fit perfectly in the heads of the screws. It'll be no trouble loosening them and taking the fabric with me. Whoever designed this building didn't go to too much trouble to conceal that there are pillars.
Ça servait à rien, non, de prendre de la toile là. Toile de fond.
It's the backdrop I use for the photography jobs I did at home. It looks waterproof. Why would I want to do something? I wouldn't.
Elle est waterproof. Peut-être pour emballer le générateur, je sais pas.
I'm afraid even if that. Too late. Covering it now wouldn't do any good. The water from the tank already damaged the generator.
Ah ou alors il faut que je le mette pendant qu'il a sa vision.
No. Why would I? There's no point. I'm not gonna. After what happened. I don't see any. Too late. Covering it now wouldn't do any good.
Ouais, c'est ça. Après, moi, je vais attendre qu'il y ait la vision. C'est du génie, bordel.
No. Rose. No, don't do
Du
it.
génie intergalactique.
No.
Yo, poulet. Allez, bim. Deuxième cartouche. De sang-froid.
Damn it. I wasn't able to save it. I can only cover half the generator with this.
Ah putain, que la moitié du générateur?
This plastic bag is designed to hold the remains of the dissolved. So I'm not putting that inside there right now.
Alors comment je peux faire pour le protéger, ce putain de générateur?
Too late. Covering it now wouldn't.
Je le coupe peut-être. Je le coupe avant de mettre la truc.
No. Rose. No, don't do it. No.
The tank doesn't have any leaks, so no water dripped onto it. It's incredible. But the generator is working.
Ah ouais, voilà,
taking too long to disconnect the cables that connect the generator to the trailer. I won't be able to grab it before the water ruins it.
Ah, faut que je le fasse plus vite alors.
Damn it. I wasn't able to save it. I can only cover half.
Passe plus vite en vrai. Je mets ça et je l'embarque.
No. Rose. No, don't do it. No!
Damn it. It's taking too long to disconnect the cables that connect the generator to the trailer. I won't be able to grab it before the water ruins it.
Alors je le déconnecte et après je mets le truc. Et le cancer. Alors je bouche le réservoir d'eau.
I don't see where I could put this enormous
Merde. Sorti de l'écran.
Use this here? How? I don't see how to use.
Déconnecte.
Rose. No, don't do it. No!
Damn it. It's taking too long to disconnect the cables that connect the generator to the
Faut
trailer.
que je lui parle. Putain.
Before the water ruins it.
On peut lui parler. Est-ce qu'on peut lui parler, bordel? Putain, je suis sorti de l'écran.
No. Rose. No, don't do it. No!
Damn it. It's taking too long to disconnect the cables that connect the generator to the trailer. I won't be able to grab it before the water ruins it.
Que je peux déconnecter les câbles avant.
No. The water turned the generator into an enormous hunk of scrap metal. Why would I want to...
Que je peux mettre ça avant.
Too late. Covering it now wouldn't do any good. The water from the tank already damaged the generator. Too late. Covering it now wouldn't do any good. The water from the tank already damaged the generator.
Ah si, je peux mettre les deux.
No. Rose. No, don't do it. No!
Génie, bordel. Génie, bordel.
Okay. First, I'll unplug the cables that connected to the trailer. I'm not gonna pick up that rope.
Les gardes, ils ont entendu 2 coups de feu. Ils n'ont pas bougé, bordel. Ils en battent les couilles.
I brought the generator you need, Chris.
Great, Michael. I knew you could do it. Give me a few minutes to set up the computer and open the report.
While Chris was getting everything ready, I decided to sit down in one of the armchairs in the office. I was exhausted. My mind had been trying to make sense of the last few hours.
Et défoncer ce bâtard.
For what seemed like an eternity. The first hours following my bitter birth in this new world. But how could I judge the new world if I could barely remember the old one? The only thing I was sure of was that we had lost something very valuable along the way. The photograph of our life, overnight, had turned into a dark, blurry, sepia-tinted image. All of civilization had drowned under the great wave, and the only thing left on the beach were its remains. But no, I was fooling myself. I was already lost before the catastrophe. To tell the truth, all the other victims of the Great Wave have been luckier than me. They still dreamed of returning to their lives. Mine had already been broken a long time ago. Did I really stand a chance of recovering something I'd already lost forever? What type of strength, what type of miracle could ever give me that second chance?
Michael, wake up!
What's happening?
The report, Michael. It's the report. I was going over it while you were sleeping. It's incredible. It's way beyond our expectations. You're gonna think I've gone crazy, but I don't even know where to start.
How about at the beginning?
Okay. It's the dead synchronicity point. The entire universe is changing, and we're going to witness it. We're going to be witnesses. And victims.
Witnesses? Victims? But what the hell are you talking about? What is this dead synchronicity point?
It's hard to explain. You're a photographer, so I'll try this analogy. Imagine a person's life chronicled in photographs. Up to now, and according to the rules that governed our universe, we were all subject to certain very specific temporal rules. Past, present, and future. That's all there was to it. So, the first thing we'd find would be a photo of the person as a newborn, then another on the person's 6th birthday, then another in college, and so on. Then we'd see photos of the person's wedding, children, old age, death. All in logical, linear, chronological order. Since our universe is conceived along a single line that starts in the past, makes a stopover in the present, and then projects into the future. Do you follow me?
Yes, of course I follow you.
Well, imagine now that this entire temporal architecture crumbles, falls apart, dissolves. Imagine that something or someone has altered the foundations of our universe, changing the rules of the game, forever annihilating our idea of time, the concepts of past, present, and future.
I think you just lost me, Chris.
Then let me continue with the metaphor of the photographs. Imagine now that a card dealer takes all these snapshots that sum up the life of this person, shuffles them, and places them in a stack in one spot on the card table. What would we have then? There would no longer be a chronological line, Michael. There would be no past, present, or future. Each of the individual events captured in these photographs, they would all be happening simultaneously, at the exact same point in time. And that point we would call
The dead synchronicity point.
Exactly. Now our world is abandoning its old physical laws and getting closer to that dead synchronicity point where time no longer exists. And therefore, all the phenomena and events that happened or will happen in the universe will start to be stacked on top of other ones, like the photographs in the dealer's deck.
That sounds crazy. How credible do you think this report is?
Completely, Michael.
Ah, le
The
bâtard.
dead synchronicity point is a fact, and the worst thing is that we're approaching it faster and faster. It'll only be a matter of days, at best maybe a few weeks, before the universe enters this new state.
Pourquoi il saute partout, mon putain de chat?
In every sense.
And what does all this have to do with us?
Come on, do you still not see it? This change in the architecture of the universe,
Allonge.
this nullification of time, is the real origin of the Great
Explorateur.
Wave, the dissolved, and the emergence of the new world.
So, the Great Wave was caused by this approach to the dead synchronicity point?
Yes, Michael. The Great Wave was the first manifestation of our universe's approach to the dead synchronicity point. That's why the catastrophe struck.
Donc en vrai,
at the
lui, il
same
est connecté
time
entre les
all
deux
over the
mondes.
planet. It wasn't just a local occurrence. It had global dimensions. It was the first clear and obvious sign that something was going wrong. And it brought chaos and misery to the world, as you've been seeing yourself since you woke up.
I don't understand your explanation about what this damn dead synchronicity point is at all.
Up to now, and according to the rules that governed our universe, we were all subject to certain very specific temporal rules. Past, present, and future. That's all there was to it. So, the first thing we'd find would be a photo of the person as a newborn, then another on the person's 6th birthday, then another in college, and so on. Then we'd see photos of the person's wedding, children, old age, death.
Ouais, c'est ça, il voyage à travers le temps, ce bâtard.
Since our universe is conceived along a single line that starts
Slider, les mondes parallèles.
makes a stopover in the present, and then projects into the future. Do you follow me?
Yes, of course I follow you.
Well, imagine now that this entire temporal architecture crumbles, falls apart, dissolves. Imagine that something or someone has altered the foundations of our universe, changing the rules of the game, forever annihilating our idea of time, the concepts of past, present, and future.
I think you just lost me, Chris.
Then let me continue with the metaphor of
Elle est
the
fatiguée, bordel.
Imagine
Ça se voit
now
sur sa
that
face.
a card dealer takes all these snapshots that sum up the life of this person, shuffles them, and places them in a stack in one spot on the card table. What would we have then? There would no longer be a chronological line, Michael. There would be no past, present, or future. Each of the individual events captured in these photographs, they would all be happening simultaneously, at the exact same point in time. And that point we would call...
the dead synchronicity point.
Exactly. Now our world is abandoning its old physical laws and getting closer to that dead synchronicity point where time no longer exists. And therefore, all the phenomena and events that happened or will happen in the universe will start to be stacked on
Donc
top
là, il
of other
s'est...
ones, like the photographs in the
Il a atteint le
dealer's
point de
deck.
synchronicité, où il s'est retrouvé à l'apocalypse en vrai, la fin du monde.
What the hell do the dissolved have to do with all this?
According to the report, the dissolved are still a big mystery. There isn't much information about them or their disease. What we do know is that they are people who are especially sensitive to the dead synchronicity point, and that is what's so tragic about them.
Especially sensitive?
Of course. This transformation, this radical and overwhelming change in the basic structure of the universe is totally incompatible with human life. We're condemned to die, Michael. Each and every one of us.
That's terrible. How can you be so sure of that?
If you think about it rationally, it's obvious. Our bodies are the product of hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, of a gradual and precarious adaptation to the environment, the universe, and its physical laws. Reaching the dead synchronicity point, the annihilation of time, we'd need another 100,000 years to adapt to such a drastic change. And what do you think will happen to the human race, to each and every one of us when this process concludes? I'll tell you, our primary metabolism will go into a state of shock. Our entire cell structure will be jolted so profoundly and so violently that what we now call our bodies will lose all coherence, leaving behind just a brown puddle as evidence of our existence.
We'll dissolve, like those poor sick people.
Indeed. According to the report, the dissolved are simply pioneers, people who are ahead of their time, the vanguard of the human race in its final extinction. That's why some cases started cropping up so early, even before the Great Wave. Their illness was the harbinger of the enormous explosion that was to follow. It preceded it by hours, even days. And that's why the cases are multiplying exponentially as we get closer to the end. Do you understand? We'll all end up turning into dissolved.
The last time we spoke, you told me that there could be a solution. A way to reverse all this madness.
Yes, and that's the best part of the report. Theoretically, Michael, and paradoxical as it may sound, our progress toward the dead synchronicity point also brings the opportunity to change things, to turn the process around and return to where we were before our world
And how would
collapsed.
that be possible?
By penetrating the very center of the anomaly, the deepest nucleus of dead synchronicity, and arriving at the point where time is just starting to fold back into itself before the process is completed. If, inside the dead synchronicity point, each and every one of the events that have happened or will happen in the universe unfold, then surely it must be possible to gain access to the moment when something or someone triggered the catastrophe and stop it.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. You're talking about time travel.
Yes, I'm talking about the possibility of accessing the past to save our present and our future, of turning the Great Wave and all its consequences into a mere nightmare that never actually happened. The report talks about the hypothetical existence of a door leading into the very heart of the dead synchronicity point, a door to each and every one of the snapshots of the past, present, and future of our universe. And if, through that door, we had a chance to access the precise instant when everything went haywire, then we might be able to change things. Michael, that's what we've got to focus on in whatever time we have left. But I have to continue studying this report. I'm sure there are more answers in it, and you have got to help me.
You're telling me that the dead synchronicity point is the origin of all this chaos? That our only chance of salvation is a theoretical journey to the past? Or sooner or later we'll all be obliterated, like those poor dissolved?
That's right, Michael. So we'd better get to work on it as soon as possible. By the way, the report also mentions another very interesting thing about the dissolved.
What is it?
It seems that in their trances, through their trips to the underground highways, the sick form a strange relationship with each other. It's as if the disease unites them, regardless of any physical distance that might separate them. The report is very unclear on this point, but it seems as if the dissolved are somehow linked, connected.
My God. That can't be.
Remember. Please, remember.
Everything fits now. Everything makes sense.
Please. Enough. My head.
Emily asked me to tell you that we're connected, Michael. We're connected.
S'il y en a un qui meurt, ils crèvent tous, bordel.
What's going on? Chris, get one of those tests ready. Fast.
But what for? You don't think that you're also...
Do as I say.
Okay. Give me your hand.
Putain, il a le sida, bordel.
It's positive. Michael, you're sick. You're dissolved.
No. That can't be. No. No!
Michael. Michael. Wake up.
Emily? Emily, is that you?
Please, Michael, wake up. Wake up.
Is that really you? Where am I?
Yes, Michael. It's me. You are on the underground highways.
Putain, cette fin de la mort, bordel. Cette fin de la mort. Il a fait un rêve en fait, tout simplement. Il s'est endormi sur la plage. Bon, les pirates. Il est temps de préparer le prochain jeu.